So GB wants to know about regrets before going indie or while. Um, sure, I'm sure we all have our notable regrets, but I want to touch a bit on a little bit of a story because as GB's mentioned, he jumped in to this. Just, I guess he was sick of his day job or something, saved up a little money and said, okay, let's give this a try. I myself, I also followed the indie path the same way, with, I'm sure, some slight differences. Uh, I actually used to work at a number of game studios here in town, as lead programmer, as the technical director at another studio. So I jumped into this with a bunch of experience, having developed. I think I was at either 10 or 11 commercial games before I decided I should be doing this myself. So I did jump in with a little bit of experience, even leading people, which, then deciding that I don't even want to lead anybody, I want to do this all on my own, was probably a bit of a step back or forward. I don't know, maybe forward. I feel it's a bit forwardy, but so yeah, I also jumped in. Yeah, both feet first. I saved a big, nice, huge ass chunk of money. Oh, swear word. And then a friend of mine decided to start a company, and he hired me on to be the tech director, and then did a stint of about a year there before before jumping again to try to do this full time. And it's been about 6 years since then. Admittedly, I jumped in a bit or into this burnt out from constant crunch times. Well, pretty much exactly that. Constant crunch times on projects that seemed very insignificant, one after the other. There's probably 10 or 11 of them, and well, that's what led me to going full time indie. I have no regrets in that regard. I love this sort of freedom that we have to kind of create what we want. I did not enjoy creating licensed games all the time. That was unfun. What I do regret is that it actually took me 3 years before I actually shipped my first product after going indie. I obviously have been working or was working on different things. I was doing an XBLA project for a good chunk of that 3 years that eventually fell through just due to, well, I want to call it mismanagement, but when it's basically me and, it was a team, a couple of us working on it. And it kind of wasn't well put together, and, Microsoft and on their pedestal decided, no, you're not worthy, after dealing with them for quite a while. And I kind of lucked out around the launch of iPhone. I whipped together a game Smiles in about 4 months, compared to the 3 years that I was stumbling with a former Let 'em Dare entry of mine. And I guess I turned it into a type of success. Hey, I'm still here. It's been almost 6 years. And I'm always porting, so that's got to mean something. As for regrets, going back to the regret topic, I suppose I regret that it took 3 years to before I got something going. But I actually anticipated that, which is kind of strange. I did everything I could to keep my costs really low, expecting even that the first major product I do would be a complete flop, which it was. Didn't even ship. But my second product, in some senses, I do regret the game Smiles, at least given that the game I left, that I was going to do and I was doing for XBLA, was a game of mine called Puff Bomb, which is a sort of a puzzle game involving impulse explosions and stuff like that. You get little cute characters, bombs, and they scream. It's like, ah! It was kind of clever. I looked at it too much as a designer, and I constantly kept seeing the flaws in it, and maybe that hurt it. I really don't know. But ultimately, I never did finish the console version, which could have easily been ported to iPhone and such after the fact. And sometime after at least Smiles, A very, 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 very similar game was released for iPhone, practically doing everything you could have expected or wanted in such a retail product. So I kind of felt defeated after that launched, and I only had smiles, which kind of sucks. So I kind of regret not sticking with my core game. I regret getting bored of it after 3 years and having to do something different. You know, reality of things is I couldn't have not done that, but you know, I wish I did finish the other game. Yeah, regrets. Comes with the territory, but I'm moving forward. New game's gonna be cooler. Gotta be cool. So I'm gonna be cool and stop now, even though I'm already many minutes over.